The trade lanes between the rim worlds were quiet, too quiet, some said. The killer merchant ship Silver Wind drifted among the stars with its cargo of crystal grain, a precious food that fed half the nearby colonies. Captain Raoul, a calm and soft-spoken Kelu, trusted the route. He had traveled this lane many times without trouble. The Kelu were a peaceful species, known for their patience and delicate hands. Their ships were fast but lightly built. They had no weapons worth speaking of. They relied on trade pacts and goodwill to protect them. That morning, as the Silver Wind slipped past a cold red sun, Raoul believed the voyage would be uneventful. Then the shadows came. A cluster of raider ships emerged from the void, sharp-edged and hungry. They were not Kelu. They were not any species that cared for trade or treaties. Their ships had no clear markings, only the dark paint of lawless men who prowled the lanes looking for easy prey. First they jammed the Silver Wind's signal channels. Then they broadcast their demand: surrender the cargo, surrender the ship. And maybe they would let the crew live. Raoul's heart raced. His crew of 6 stared at him with wide eyes. Their small freighter had no defenses strong enough to fight back. Raoul tried to negotiate. He spoke through the open channel, his voice calm though his hands trembled. "We are unarmed traders. We have no quarrel with you. Take part of the cargo if you must. But let my crew go." The raiders only laughed. Their ships began to circle. Like wolves, energy readings spiked as they powered their weapons. The Kelu were out of time. Raoul ordered his first mate to broadcast a universal SOS beacon. It was a desperate move. Few ships would answer a distress call so far from the core worlds. Even fewer would risk their lives to help an unknown crew. But it was all they had. The beacon pulsed outward through the cold darkness. "Save our ship. We are under attack." "This is an OS. The raiders fired a warning shot across the Silver Wind's bow. The hull shook. Sparks lit the narrow control deck. The crew clung to their stations, waiting for the next strike. Raoul knew they had only minutes. Far away, in a sector no Kelu ship had ever traveled, a human patrol vessel called the Vigilant was completing its escort duty for a convoy. The humans were known by many names across the stars. Some called them Deathworlders because their home planet, Earth, was considered too hostile for life by most standards. Predators, storms, quakes, and disease had shaped humanity into a species, both stubborn and resilient. Captain Ryan of the Vigilant had just ordered his crew to set a new course home. When the SOS pinged across the comm screen, it was faint, almost buried in the static of deep space. Most captains would ignore such a call. The rim was full of traps. Raiders sometimes sent false distress signals to lure rescuers into ambushes. But Ryan did not hesitate. "Bring it up. Track the source," he ordered. The navigator, a young officer named Mara, ran the signal through their scanners. Coordinates locked. "It's a small freighter. Kelu registry. Looks like trouble." The tactical officer frowned. "Sir, it's out of our assigned zone." Command didn't authorize. Ryan cut him off with a firm voice. "They're calling for help. We're answering." The crew of the Vigilant moved with precision. Engines roared as the patrol ship pivoted and leapt into faster-than-light drive. They didn't discuss whether it was wise. They didn't ask if it would earn them reward. Humans had a simple rule: if someone is in danger, you do not turn away. Back on the Silver Wind, Captain Raoul could see the raiders charging their main guns. The lead ship's voice crackled through the channel. "Last chance, traitor. Cut your engines, or we cut you apart." Raoul gripped the controls, though he knew it was useless. He whispered to his crew to stay calm. The Kelu were gentle folk, unused to violence. His only hope was that someone, anyone, had heard their SOS before the raiders ended it. In the distance, space rippled. A bright tear opened in the void as the Vigilant dropped out of faster-than-light travel. The human ship appeared like a blade of steel in the darkness, its hull marked with the crest of Earth Fleet. On the Vigilant's bridge, Ryan studied the scene. Single freighter, 6 raiders. Light armor, fast engines. "They're not expecting company." The tactical officer grinned. "Orders." "Captain, show them what happens when you prey on the helpless," Ryan said. His tone was calm, not angry, but his eyes were sharp. The Vigilant lit its drives and raced forward. A transmission blasted across open space, clear and firm. "This is Earth. Fleet Patrol Vessel Vigilant. The freighter is under our protection. Raiders. Break off immediately or be fired upon." The raiders hesitated. No one expected a Deathworlders ship to arrive here. Their hesitation cost them dearly. In a sudden flash, the Vigilant fired a precise burst, disabling the lead raider's engines without destroying the ship. Another quick shot severed the second raider's weapons array. The humans were not firing to kill, they were firing to end the fight fast. On the Silver Wind, Captain Raoul and his crew stared in disbelief as their attackers scattered. They had never seen such accuracy, such fearless action. The human ship moved like a hawk among startled crows. Within minutes, the raiders were fleeing into deep space, engines burning hot. Ryan did not pursue. He opened a channel to the Kellu's ship instead. "This is Captain Ryan of the Vigilant. Your vessel is safe now. Do you require repairs, Raoul's?" Voice trembled as he replied, We thought no one would come. Thank you, Captain Ryan. We owe you our lives." The human captain only nodded. "Stay close. We'll escort you until you're clear of this sector." As the two ships traveled together, Raoul could not stop watching the Vigilant. He had heard the stories about humans, about Deathworlders, who thrived where no one else could survive. Many feared them, few trusted them. But today, in this quiet corner of space, the humans had arrived not as conquerors, but as protectors. Raoul sent a private message to his home port. The stories are true. When danger comes, humans do not run. They come for you, and far behind them. The defeated raiders whispered to each other in anger and fear. For the first time, they realized their prey had powerful friends. The SOS signal that no one expected to be answered had sparked something greater. It was only the beginning. The stars slid by in slow silence as the Silver Wind followed the human patrol ship Vigilant. Through open space, the Kellu freighter limped forward on low power. Its hull was scorched from the raiders' warning shots, and several panels sparked inside the narrow control deck. But the ship was alive, and so were her crew. Captain Raoul stood at the main console, his long fingers gliding over the controls. His crew kept glancing at the human vessel flying ahead of them. The Vigilant was compact, solid, built not for luxury but for purpose. Its gray hull bore the blue crest of Earth Fleet, clean and sharp. Raoul could not understand why the humans had come. Few species in the outer lanes risked their own lives to save strangers. Yet here was a ship from a world known for storms, wild beasts, and dangerous lands, a ship from people most called Deathworlders. Raoul's first mate, a young Kellu named Terry, spoke softly. "Captain, why would they help us? We have no alliance with their worlds. We have nothing to offer them." Raoul shook his head. "I do not know, but I intend to find out." As the Vigilant signaled for docking alignment, Raoul sent a request to speak directly with its captain. The reply came quickly. A clear voice filled the Kellu control deck. "This is Captain Ryan of the Vigilant. We're going to guide you to a safe lane, Captain Raoul. Once you're secure, I'll answer any questions you have." Raoul agreed, though his curiosity burned hotter with every passing minute. On the Vigilant, Captain Ryan walked calmly across the bridge. His crew worked with quiet focus. Navigator Mara updated the flight path. The tactical officer monitored sensors for any sign of the raiders' return. The hum of the ship's engines was steady and low. "Damage report from the freighter?" Ryan asked. Mara checked her console. "Minor hull damage. No serious breaches. Their power grid's unstable, but they'll make it to the nearest station if we guide them." Ryan nodded. "Good. Let's get them clear of this sector. Raiders don't like to give up so easily." The tactical officer looked uneasy. "Captain, command might not be pleased we've left our assigned route." Ryan's expression stayed calm. "Command can ask questions later. Right now there are people out here who needed help." That's reason enough. No one argued. Humans had learned through their own history that sometimes orders matter less than doing the right thing. 2 hours later, with the immediate danger behind them, the Silver Wind and the Vigilant locked into short-range comms. Captain Raoul appeared on the human ship's main screen. His pale eyes studied the tall figure of Ryan. who stood in a simple dark uniform. Hands folded behind his back, Captain Ryan, Raoul said, "You saved us. I must ask, why? What do your people gain from helping strangers in deep space?" Ryan smiled slightly. "We didn't come here to gain anything. You sent a distress call. We answered. That's all." Raoul tilted his head. "You mean no payment, no alliance terms, none," Ryan said. "Back home, we're taught that if someone's in danger, you help if you can. It doesn't matter who they are. Life is rare and worth protecting." Raoul's crew exchanged amazed glances. They had never heard such a simple reason given with such certainty. Tiri, who had been silent until now, leaned close to the screen. "Do all humans think like this?" Ryan's smile turned faint and thoughtful. "Not all, but many of us try." Raoul felt a strange respect stir inside him. He had heard frightening tales about Deathworlders, about how they fought harder than any other species and survived in places no one else could live. But now he saw something different. Their strength was not only in weapons or ships. It was in their will to protect others without asking anything in return. As the two ships traveled, Ryan ordered his engineers to scan the silver wind for weak spots without asking. The Vigilant sent repair drones to patch up the damaged hull. The small machines glided across the freighter's surface, sealing cracks and adjusting loose panels. Raoul watched the repair work in disbelief. "They fix our ship as if it were their own," he whispered to Thierry. The first mate gave a small smile. "Maybe the stories we heard were wrong. Maybe Deathworlders are not monsters." Raoul nodded slowly. "Maybe they are simply people who do not walk away." Hours passed in quiet travel until the ships reached a safer trade lane. The stars here were bright and peaceful. No sign of raiders appeared on the long-range scanners. Ryan opened a final channel to the silver wind. "You're clear now. Follow this lane and you'll reach your home port safely. No more trouble should come your way." Raoul hesitated. He felt a weight in his chest, a need to say more. "Captain Ryan, I do not know how to repay this." "You don't need to repay it," Ryan said. "Just remember that not everyone out here turns away when danger comes." Raoul gave a small bow of his head. "We will remember, and we will tell others." When the Vigilant turned back toward its own patrol zone, Raoul sent a private message to Kelo Command. The humans answered our call. They asked for nothing. They came with courage and skill. They fought to protect strangers. We should not fear them. We should learn from them. On the Vigilant, Captain Ryan returned to his seat on the bridge. His crew looked pleased but calm, as if saving strangers was routine. "Think Command will scold us?" Mara asked with a grin. "Probably," Ryan replied, eyes forward. "But I'd rather be scolded for helping than praised for ignoring a call for help." The crew chuckled softly, and the ship resumed its watch along the star lanes. Far away, in the shadows of an asteroid belt, the defeated raiders gathered. Their leader glared at the holoscreen replay of the brief fight. "One human ship, and they drove us off," he growled. "Next time, we come with more, much more." They began planning revenge, unaware that the humans were already spreading word of the attack. An Earth fleet did not leave friends undefended. The simple act of answering an SOS had set something greater in motion. Soon, it would no longer be one ship on patrol. Soon, an entire fleet would be watching. The Vigilant returned to its patrol route, but Captain Ryan's mind stayed fixed on the Kelu freighter. A single rescue was not unusual for humans, but something about this attack troubled him. Raiders this far out usually avoided open fights. This time they had struck boldly, confident no one would come to help. Ryan stood on the bridge, staring at the navigation display. "They'll attack again," he said quietly. His tactical officer, Chief Var, looked up from his station. "You think it wasn't random?" "Not random," Ryan replied. "Someone is testing the lanes. They want to see who will respond. If they think no one is watching, more freighters will fall." Navigator Mara frowned. "Command might not send more patrols. They already think this sector is calm." Ryan nodded grimly. "Then we will make them see it isn't." Meanwhile, Captain Raoul guided the Silver Wind into Kelu's space. Repairs were finished. But his thoughts were far from calm. He gathered his crew in the small galley of their freighter. We were lucky, Raoul said, his voice steady but serious. If the humans had not come, we would not be here now. Thierry, the first mate, folded her arms. Do you think they will keep watching this lane? Raoul shook his head. One ship cannot guard the whole rim, but they answered our call without hesitation. That means something. The crew agreed silently. They knew how few species would have risked their lives to protect strangers. Raoul drafted a detailed report for Kelu Command, praising the human vessel and urging closer cooperation with Earth Fleet back aboard the Vigilant. Captain Ryan sent his own report to Earth Fleet High Command. He described the SOS, the raider ambush, and the need for a stronger presence along the trade routes. He did not ask for praise. He asked for action. 2 days later, a secure message reached the Vigilant. Admiral Sellen's calm face appeared on the main screen. Captain Ryan, your report has been reviewed, she said. Command agrees this sector is vulnerable. You are ordered to hold your current position and await reinforcement. Ryan raised an eyebrow. Reinforcement, Admiral? The Admiral gave a slight smile. Earth Fleet is dispatching 3 more patrol ships to your area. You won't be alone out there for long. When the news reached the bridge, the crew of the Vigilant exchanged excited glances. Chief R grinned. Looks like someone listened to you, Captain. Ryan only nodded. Good. Raiders need to learn these lanes are not unguarded. But even as he spoke, fresh warnings appeared on the sensors. Another Kelu freighter, the Bright Current, had gone silent just beyond a nearby asteroid field. Same pattern, Mara muttered. They jammed its signal before it could send an SOS. Ryan's jaw tightened. Then we will send the SOS for them. Plot a course. The Vigilant accelerated toward the silent ship. They moved without fanfare. No dramatic broadcasts, no warnings to the enemy. Ryan wanted the raiders caught off guard. The asteroid field loomed ahead, cold and scattered. Chunks of rock turning slowly in the black. Through the gaps, the Bright Current drifted powerless. Its lights dim. No escorts, no defense. Life signs are steady, Mara reported. The crew is alive, but their engines are offline. I'm reading multiple raider ships surrounding them. Chief cracked his knuckles. Ready to give them a scare, Captain? Not a scare, Ryan said calmly. A lesson. The Vigilant slid into the shadows of the asteroid field, its engines dimmed to silent running. Every crew member spoke in hushed voices as the patrol ship glided between tumbling rocks. The raiders did not see them coming. They were too busy tearing at the Bright Current's cargo bay. Lock targets, Ryan ordered. Weapons ready. No kills unless absolutely necessary. Disable and scatter them. With precision strikes, the Vigilant fired from concealment. One raider's thrusters flared out instantly. Another lost its weapon array to a sharp beam of energy. The third tried to turn and fight, but a single shot cut its controls, sending it spinning into open space. The battle lasted less than 5 minutes. No raider ship was destroyed, but none could continue the attack. The Bright Current lit its emergency beacons as the attackers fled. Captain Rao, receiving the rescue report later, could hardly believe it. The humans had saved another Kelu vessel quietly, efficiently, without boasting. Rao recorded a message of gratitude and sent it to Earth Fleet through secure channels. On the Vigilant, Ryan opened comms to the frightened Kelu crew of the Bright Current. This is Captain Ryan of the Vigilant. Your attackers are gone. We will escort you to safer space. The Kelu captain, an elderly trader named Donald, spoke with a shaky voice. We thought no one would come. Thank you, Captain Ryan. Thank your people for us. Ryan's reply was calm and simple. We don't leave people behind. Stay close to our ship until you're clear. News of the rescue spread faster than light across merchant networks. Traders from many species whispered about the humans who patrolled the rim not for conquest, not for wealth, but to answer calls for help. Some feared this new human presence. If Deathworlders gather ships out here, one merchant captain warned in a council meeting, they will claim these lanes for themselves. But others shook their heads. They did not take anything from us. Captain Rao said firmly when asked to testify. They gave protection. They refused payment. They even repaired our ship. These words carried weight. For generations, no one had trusted Deathworlders. Now stories began to paint them in a different light, not as dangerous predators, but as strong allies. A week later, 3 more Earth Fleet patrol ships joined the Vigilant. Together they formed a small task force to guard the trade lanes. Their presence was quiet but impossible to ignore. Raider scouts detected human signatures along routes they once hunted freely. In dark corners of space, Raider leaders gathered. Again, humans, one spat. They think they can protect every ship. They're fools. But even as they spoke, fear crept in. The humans had answered every call so far, and they fought not like desperate merchants, but like trained guardians who could strike hard and vanish before any counterattack. Captain Ryan stood on the bridge of the Vigilant, watching the other Earth Fleet ships take formation. He knew this was only the start. If raiders were bold enough to test these lanes, stronger threats would come next. "We're not here to chase glory," Ryan told his crew quietly. "We're here to make sure. No one travels these stars in fear." Chief smiled faintly. "Then I'd say we're doing our job." "Captain." Ryan gazed out at the endless dark, the stars shining like distant beacons. For every ship saved, another would call for help, and for every call, humans would come. The galaxy had not yet realized it, but a new reputation was forming. The Deathworlders were not only feared, they were becoming trusted. And in the shadows, those who preyed on the weak were beginning to learn that no cry for help would go unanswered. The dark lanes of the Rim were no longer empty, where only a single patrol ship once traveled. Now for Earth Fleet vessels moved in quiet formation. Their engines glowed faint blue as they swept across the trade routes, guiding freighters in. Scanning for threats, Captain Ryan of the Vigilant stood at the center of his bridge, watching 3 new rivals take their places around his ship. The Daring, the Steadfast, and the Horizon-sleek patrol craft with crews as disciplined as his own had joined his task force. "Sector sweep complete," Navigator Mara reported. "No hostile contacts within range." Chief R, leaning on his console, grinned. "Looks like the raiders got the message." Ryan shook his head. His voice was calm but firm. "No, raiders don't quit. They wait, they plan, and they come back stronger. We must be ready." Word of the human task force spread fast among merchant ships. The Keller Council sent a message of thanks to Earth Fleet, and other species took notice. Traders who once feared Deathworlders now hailed them as protectors of the lanes. But not everyone approved. At a neutral trade station, whispers ran through crowded docking bays. "Humans don't send fleets for free," a Loran merchant grumbled. "They're claiming these lanes for themselves." "You think so?" another replied. "Then why are they escorting our ships without asking for a single coin?" Captain Rowell of the Silver Wind heard these rumors when he arrived to deliver his cargo. He stepped forward at the station council meeting. "The humans saved my ship." "And another Kellu ship," Rowell said simply. "They took nothing. They demanded nothing. If you call that conquest, then you do not understand them." Many left the meeting quiet, uncertain. A few still doubted, but every passing day brought new stories of ships saved and attacks stopped. Far from these debates, in the shadow of a broken moon, the raider clans gathered again. Their leader, a scarred figure named Crass, slammed a fist against the table. "For human ships now guard the lanes," Crass growled. "They shame us. They make merchants think they are safe." "That ends now." Dozens of captains nodded grimly. "We bring 20 ships this time," one said. "We burn their patrol to ash." "Good," Crass replied. "When the humans are gone, no one will answer the next SOS." 2 days later, sensors on the Vigilant detected unusual movement near the outer trade routes. Mara reported it with a steady voice. Multiple contacts. At least 20 raider craft approaching a Kellu convoy. Chief looked at Ryan sharply. "They're coming in heavy, Captain. This isn't a quick hit and run." Ryan pressed his lips into a firm line. "Signal the task force. All ships to intercept course. We hold the line here." The 4 human patrol vessels accelerated into formation, engines flaring bright as they closed on the convoy. The civilian ships, carrying grain and fuel, moved in tight cluster. Fear rippled through their comms channels. "This is Captain Ryan of the Earth Fleet Patrol Vigilant. Ryan announced calmly across open space. Merchant vessels, maintain position. We are here to defend you. The convoy captain's voice came back shaken. For ships against 20, you'll be destroyed. Ryan's reply was steady as stone. We are not leaving. Stay behind our line. As the raider fleet appeared on sensors, the human ships powered weapons and locked shields. The daring and steadfast flanked left, the horizon to the right, while the vigilant held center. Enemy range closing fast. Chief Var reported. All ships ready, Ryan said. Fire only to disable. We protect these freighters without unnecessary destruction. When the raiders opened fire, the humans answered with precision. Beam shots sliced through engines, leaving attackers drifting. Helpless, iron bursts fried weapon arrays without touching life support. The human ships move as one, a wall of steel and light holding firm against the storm. The raiders fought hard. They darted in and out, trying to break the formation. But every attack was met by coordinated counterfire. On the Daring's bridge, Captain Lyra's voice rang steady. Second wave incoming. Engines holding. Shields at 60%. On the horizon, Captain Merrick called across the fleet channel to raiders disabled on our side, holding position inside the Vigilant. Ryan guided his crew with calm authority. Keep them off the convoy. Target engines, not hulls. Show them we're not here to destroy, only to protect. After 40 long minutes of fighting, half the raider fleet was dead in space, drifting without power. The rest turned to flee. Their leader Kras sent a bitter signal as he retreated. This is not over, human. You can't protect every ship. Ryan's reply was cool. Maybe not, but we protect every ship we reach, and we will always reach them. When the battle ended, the human patrol ships escorted the Kelu convoy to safety. Not a single freighter had been lost. Damage to the Earth Fleet Task Force was light, but morale was unshaken. On the lead convoy vessel, Captain Donald of the Bright Current stared in awe as the humans guided them through open space. They fight like no one I've ever seen, Donald told his crew, and yet they spared their enemies when they could destroy them. That is real strength. The news spread across the trade networks faster than the fastest courier ship. Stories up for human patrol craft standing against 20 raiders reached every port and station. Some feared this growing human presence. Others admired it. Captain Rao spoke again at the Kelu Council. Do you still think Deathworlders come to conquer? They came to defend. When we called, they answered. When others stayed silent, they came. Even council members who distrusted humans had no answer. Back on the Vigilant, Ryan stood on the bridge watching the stars drift past. The fleet cruised slowly, engines quiet. Shields repaired. Ma returned from her station. Captain, word from command. They're sending even more ships to our sector. They want a permanent presence out here. Chief Var chuckled. Looks like we're not just a patrol anymore. We're a real fleet now. Ryan gave a faint smile. Good. The galaxy needs to see that humanity doesn't just protect itself. We protect anyone who needs help. But far in the darkness, the raider leader Kras planned again. For ships, 8 ships, 20 ships, it doesn't matter. He snarled to his followers. We'll bring a full armada, and then we'll see if these humans still come running. What Kras did not know was that Earth Fleet had already decided this was no longer a minor patrol mission. They would not send 4 ships next time. They would send many more. And every one of them would answer any call for help. The calm of the trade lanes was broken by the hum of countless engines across the rim. Sensors on the Vigilant picked up a massive fleet approaching from the outer systems. Captain Ryan studied the display. Number of contacts? He asked. Quietly, Navigator Mara's fingers flew across the console. At least 70 raider craft. They are moving fast and in formation. Weapons ready. This is no small attack. Chief Var's expression hardened. They've learned. They won't come one by one this time. Ryan did not answer immediately. He knew the stakes. This was the moment that would test everything Earth Fleet had built in the rim. On the raider side, Kras paced across the deck of his flagship. His scarred face was tense. 70 ships. He growled. We will crush these humans once and for all. No freighter will survive their protection this time. a younger raider officer whispered. They fought against 20 and 1, Commander. 70 may not be enough. Krass slammed his fist against the table. Enough? Enough is the human fleet here to see? They will burn, and we will be the ones to write the stories across the stars. Back aboard the Vigilant, Ryan gathered his task force, now numbering 10 ships, including the Daring, Steadfast, Horizon, and 6 newly arrived vessels, the Human. Fleet prepared for the Raiders' assault. Formation Delta Prime, Ryan ordered. Protect all merchant vessels. Shields up, weapons ready, fire only to disable. We do not destroy if we do not need to. Our goal is defense, not slaughter. The crew moved with silent efficiency. Humans had trained for this, each ship had. Its role: flanking, forward defense, rear cover. Every officer understood the importance of precision and discipline. As the Raider fleet approached, their weapons glowed with malicious intent. The killer convoy followed closely behind the Human task force. Captain Donald of the Bright Current kept his eyes on the massive human wall forming before him. They are waiting, he whispered to his crew. For us, protecting us, Ral, aboard. The Silver Wind nodded silently. The killer freighter had traveled this lane many times, but he had never felt so safe as when humans stood in front of them. The Raiders fired the first salvo. Pulses of energy lanced toward the Human fleet. Shields flared and absorbed the hits. The humans did not panic. They moved with coordination unmatched by any species Ral had ever seen. Target the lead ships. Ryan commanded. Disable engines first, weapons second. Keep formation tight. Beam strikes flew from the Human vessels. One Raider lost all. Forward thrust, spinning helplessly into the void. Another had its weapon arrays fried before it could fire again. A small squad tried to flank from the left, but the Daring and Horizon moved in unison to cut off their approach inside the Vigilant. Ryan's crew worked silently, eyes on monitors, hands steady on controls. The Raiders attempted to scatter and strike separately, but the Humans anticipated every move. 2 ships disabled on the left flank, Mar reported. Good, Ryan said calmly. Keep pushing forward. Protect the convoy. Chief grinned slightly. They're good, Captain, but they're no match for all 10 of us moving together. Ryan's eyes did not leave the display. Never underestimate anyone. Focus on precision, not pride. The battle raged for nearly an hour. The Raider fleet was larger, faster, and more aggressive than before. But every Human ship had trained for situations like this. They moved like a single organism. One ship would cover a weak point, another would cut off an attack path, another would disable an enemy ship with surgical accuracy. By the time the Raiders realized they were being outmaneuvered, half their fleet was drifting powerless in space. Their formation collapsed. Krass screamed orders, but they were too late. His flagship was cornered by 3 Human vessels. Weapons disabled, thrusters burned out. For the first time, the Raider commander felt fear. Captain Donald and Captain Ral watched the outcome in awe. The Humans were not reckless. They did not fight to kill. They fought to protect. Every disabled Raider ship was left with life intact. Every freighter remained safe. This is unlike anything I have seen, Donald whispered. Not just power, discipline, and thought. They are not merciless. They are precise, Ral nodded. This is why they are called Deathworlders. They survive everywhere, but now we see how they protect as well. Ryan kept the fleet in formation even after the Raiders began retreating. Do not let them regroup, he ordered. Escort the convoy fully out of the sector. We cannot leave them exposed. The convoy moved slowly through the cleared lanes, shielded on all sides by Human vessels. When the last freighter was finally safe, the Human ships turned toward open space, scanning for further threats. Krass and the surviving Raiders retreated far from the sector, sending warnings and messages of revenge. They were furious, but their ships had been disabled without loss of life. Their pride was wounded, and their plans had failed. Next time, Krass hissed, we will bring more than they can handle, and we will not let anyone escape. But across the rim, the message of Human protection had spread. Traders whispered about the 10 ships that defeated 70 Raiders without a single freighter. Lost Earth fleet had proving that humans did not fight for glory or loot, they fought to protect life. In the aftermath, Captain Ryan returned to the bridge of the Vigilant. He gazed at the stars, calm and reflective. "Today we held the line," he said. "Tomorrow, someone else will call for help. We will answer. That is our duty." Mara smiled faintly. "Captain, they will remember us. Every ship we save spreads the story." Chief R leaned against the console. "And the raiders will think twice next time." Ryan nodded. "Yes, but we must always be ready. Strength without discipline is meaningless. We have protected today, but the galaxy will always test us. That is why we exist, to answer the calls no one else will." Back on the Kellu freighters, the crew spoke and hushed. Awed voices about the humans who fought without malice, but with unmatched skill. Captain Rao sent a report to his home port, praising Earth fleet and urging closer coordination. "The humans answered our call," Rao wrote. "They saved not only us, but the convoy. They do not fight to conquer. They fight to protect. The galaxy will know them soon." And so, the rim lanes were safe for now. The raiders had been defeated. Their arrogance had been broken. The humans had proven that numbers alone could not overwhelm discipline, planning, and courage. Across the stars, whispers spread. When Deathworlders move, hope follows. The galaxy had seen a glimpse of human strength, and no species would forget it. The rim lanes were alive with activity. Earth fleet's presence had grown. 10 patrol ships now moved through the sector, each crew trained to the highest standards. The stories of the humans' defense had spread across multiple systems. Freighters once hesitant to travel now moved confidently, knowing that a shield of disciplined ships traveled ahead of them. Captain Ryan of the Vigilant stood on his bridge, scanning the stars. Despite the victories, he knew the threat was far from over. Raiders, even when outmatched, never gave up. "Captain," Navigator Mara said, her eyes on the screen, "we have reports of raider movements beyond the outer rim. Smaller groups, trying to find weak points in our patrol lanes." Ryan nodded. "Good. Keep tracking them. Notify the task force. Every signal, every movement. We must see it first." Chief R, leaning against the console, spoke. "They'll test our limits. They always do. But we've got 10 ships now, Captain. They won't surprise us easily." Ryan gave a faint smile. "It's not just numbers, Var. It's coordination, discipline, and the will to protect. That is what makes us stronger than them." In a nearby Kellu colony, Captain Rao and his crew prepared for the next shipment. The silver wind had become a symbol of the humans' protection. Merchants spoke openly about the patrol ships, sharing stories of the battles, the courage, and the discipline of Deathworlders. "This is unlike anything we've ever seen," Rao said quietly to Thierry. "They do not fight for credit. They do not fight for loot. They fight for life itself." Thierry nodded. "It is remarkable, and it gives hope. Every freighter knows that help will come if needed." Back in space, the human task force received an urgent message. A convoy of traders, mostly Kellu and Loran vessels, was under attack in a sector to jumps away. The raiders had regrouped into a small, aggressive fleet, attempting a quick strike. 10 ships against 20, Mara said, scanning the approaching fleet. "They are trying the same tactic as before." Ryan remained calm. "Then we will be ready, just as before. Signal the task force. Full formation Delta Prime. Escort the convoy and intercept the attackers." Chief R grinned. "Looks like we get to teach them another lesson in patience and precision." The task force moved swiftly. Freighters were guided into safe zones, while the human ships took up defensive positions. The raiders fired first, their energy pulses streaking through the void, but the shields held. Ryan studied the display. "Target their engines. Disable their weapons. We protect the convoy above all." The humans struck with precise accuracy. Beams of energy cut through enemy thrusters and weapons arrays without harming life support systems. Raiders attempting to flank were intercepted by the Daring and Horizon, while the Vigilant and Steadfast held the center, blocking the main attack. Minutes stretched into tense hours. Every move was calculated. The human ships did not act recklessly. They anticipated, countered, and protected, creating a wall of strength no raider could break on the bridge of the Vigilant. Ryan's eyes never left the display. 3 raiders. Disabled on the left flank, Mara reported. 2 are retreating. Their formation is breaking. Good. Ryan said, keep focus. Protect the convoy. No freighter lost. Chief R added. It's almost beautiful, the way they try to fight, but fail. Ryan's eyes remain calm. It's the discipline, not the beauty. Every action counts. One mistake, one delay, and a freighter could be lost. That is what we prevent by the time the battle ended. The convoy was completely safe. Not a single ship had been damaged seriously. The raiders, now scattered and broken, retreated into the depths of space. Their confidence had been shattered. The freighters, their crews trembling with relief, sent messages of gratitude. Captain Donald of the Bright Current recorded a message. Earth fleet patrols have saved us again. They do not fight for glory. They fight to protect life. This is a new age for the Rim. Raoul and Thierry shared the message with their own crew. The words carried pride, hope, and certainty. Humans were no longer distant legends, they were guardians. Ryan held a quiet meeting with his task force. We have proven today that discipline, coordination, and purpose are stronger than numbers alone, he said. Every freighter saved strengthens confidence across the sector. Every raider defeated learns caution. But we must remain vigilant. More will come. And our work never ends. Chief R leaned back in his chair. They'll think twice before returning. They'll need to plan much bigger if they want another chance. Ryan nodded. Yes, and we will be ready. Each call for help strengthens our presence. We are not just patrols. We are a shield across the Rim. Traders and colonies adjusted their operations. Routes once considered dangerous were now reliable. Merchants spoke openly about Earth Fleet's efforts. Many species began to request escort services, hoping for the same protection the Kelu had received. Captain Raoul reflected on the changes. In just a short time, humans have transformed how we see the Rim. Fear is replaced with hope. They do not need recognition. They do not ask for reward. They only act, Thierry added quietly. And that is what makes them truly powerful. Strength without selfishness, courage without malice, far away in the shadows. Crass and the remaining raiders plotted again. They had learned from their defeats. They would bring more ships next time. They would try different tactics. But the stories of Earth Fleet's discipline spread faster than their plots. They protect without greed. One raider growled. Every call answered. Every freighter saved. How can we strike fear if we cannot reach them first? Crass slammed his fist. We will adapt. We will strike. And when we do, we will see if they can respond again. Captain Ryan watched the stars slide past the Vigilant. Each victory protects life. He told his crew. Each act of defense inspires confidence. That is why we are here. Mars smiled faintly. Captain, the galaxy is starting to trust humans. Ryan nodded. Trust is earned through action. We act. We protect. We do not falter. That is our way. And every time we succeed, more lives are saved and more hope spreads. Chief R added quietly. And every raider fleet learns that humans do not back down. Ryan's gaze remained on the stars. Exactly. And that is only the beginning. The Rim had changed. Where fear once ruled the lanes, humans now stood as silent guardians. Raiders have been challenged and defeated repeatedly. Merchants moved with confidence, knowing that Earth Fleet patrols were always near. The galaxy had begun to understand the strength of humans not just in battle, but in courage, discipline, and the will to protect. The story of Earth Fleet was no longer just about survival. It was about hope, trust, and the promise that no call for help would go unanswered. And the humans of the Rim stood ready. The trade lanes of the Rim were quiet, but the calm did not last. Sensors on the Vigilant flickered as a massive fleet approached from the Outer Rim. This time it was unlike anything the humans had faced. Raiders, united under Crass, brought over 100 ships, ready not just to attack, but to crush the Earth Fleet presence entirely. Captain Ryan studied the display. His eyes were steady, but inside, he felt the weight of the moment. This was the ultimate test. If the raiders succeeded, the rim lanes would fall back into chaos. If the humans won, the galaxy would understand the full measure of human strength. Number of raider ships? Ryan asked. Navigator Mara's voice was calm but tense. 102, Captain. Full assault formation. They are moving fast, weapons hot. Chief Fur clenched his jaw. They've brought everything. This is their final gamble. Ryan nodded. Then we meet them with everything we have. Alert the task force. Full formation Delta Prime. Protect every freighter. No ship left behind. The 10 Earth Fleet ships move as one, positioning themselves between the approaching raiders and the scattered convoy of freighters. Captain Donald of the Bright Current watched in awe as the human ships took precise positions. Engines flaring, shields glowing, weapons calibrated to perfection. They are calm. Donald whispered to his crew, even against overwhelming numbers. They do not panic. That is what makes them different. Captain Rowell of the Silver Wind nodded silently. They do not fight for pride. They fight for life. That is why they survive. The raiders fired first. Pulses of energy streaked toward the human fleet, but shields flared and absorbed the impact. The humans responded instantly, striking at engines and weapons systems to disable without destroying life. Flank attack from the left, Mara warned. They are trying to break our line. Ryan adjusted the fleet, horizon, and daring. Intercept the left flank. Steadfast and vigilant, hold the center. Protect the convoy at all costs. Chief Fur leaned over his console. Captain, if they push harder, they could pierce the outer shields. Ryan's gaze remained steady. Then, we push harder. Anticipate, counter, protect. Discipline and coordination win where numbers fail. The battle raged for over 2 hours. The raider fleet was relentless, moving in waves and trying every tactic. But the human fleet anticipated each strike. Disabled ships were left intact. Freighters remained safe. Each move was calculated, each decision precise. On the vigilant, Ryan gave orders with calm authority. Target engines first. Disable weapons second. Shields remain at maximum. Protect life above all else. Mara nodded, guiding beams of energy toward raider thrusters. 3 ships disabled on the left flank. Weapons offline on for more. They cannot break our line. Chief Fur smiled faintly. They're learning to late. We are always one step ahead. As the raiders regrouped, attempting a massive frontal assault, Ryan called for every ship to converge into a tighter formation. The freighters moved into the heart of the fleet, shielded by a ring of 10 human ships. Everyone, focus, Ryan said. We are their shield. Every beam, every strike, every maneuver protects those who cannot fight. That is our purpose. The humans move like one organism, anticipating every attack, countering every move. The raiders found themselves disabled and retreating again, one ship after another. Krass's flagship was cornered, its weapons fried, engines destroyed. Impossible. Krass shouted into his console. We brought everything. How can they withstand us? They fight with purpose, a younger raider officer whispered. Not for pride, not for gold, but for life. That is why they cannot fail. Hours passed, and the raider fleet finally began retreating. Their numbers reduced to half, their formation broken, their morale shattered. Every freighter was safe. Not a single life lost in the convoy. The humans had done the impossible. 10 ships against over 100 raiders. And yet the rim lanes remained secure. Captain Donald stared at the retreating raiders. They are extraordinary. I have never seen strength like this. Raoul nodded. They are not just strong. They protect, they endure. That is why they are feared and respected across the rim. After the battle, the 10 ships regrouped. Shields were repaired, engines tested, and the freighters were guided safely to the nearest station. Captain Ryan addressed his task force. Today, we defended life against overwhelming odds. This is the example we set. Discipline, coordination, courage, and the will to protect. This is humanity's way. Remember this victory. It is not just for us. It is for every ship that travels these lanes. For every life that calls for help. Chief Fur nodded. They will remember us, Captain. The galaxy will know. Mars smiled. And the raiders will. Think twice before returning. Ryan's eyes turned toward the stars. yes. And every time we answer the call, humanity's mark will grow. We are not here to conquer. We are here to protect. That is our legacy. News of the battle spread quickly across multiple systems. Traders and colonies spoke of the humans who had faced over 100 raider ships and still protected every freighter. The story of 10 Earth Fleet ships defending life against impossible odds traveled faster than any. Courier.kelu and Loran colonies sent messages of gratitude. Merchants openly praised the humans. Even neutral species began to request human escort services. Knowing that Earth Fleet would answer every call, Captain Rao of the Silver Wind sent a report home. Humans are not just warriors. He wrote, they are guardians. They answer every SOS. They fight not for pride, not for gold, but for life. The galaxy will remember them. In the depths of space, Krass and the remaining raiders plotted. They had been defeated and humiliated, but fear now tempered their anger. They would not strike again lightly. Their reports warn all raider clans. Humans answer calls for help, and they fight with unmatched discipline. Next time, Krass whispered, we must be smarter, but we cannot underestimate them again. On the Vigilant, Ryan stood on the bridge. Watching the stars drift past, the freighters were safe, the task force intact, and the rim lane secure. Every call answered, Ryan said softly, every life protected. That is the measure of strength. That is the mark of humanity. Mar nodded. Captain, the galaxy is starting to trust humans. Ryan's gaze remained calm and steady. Trust is earned through action. Today we proved it. Tomorrow we will do it again. And every time, we grow stronger, wiser, and more reliable. That is the way of humanity. Chief R added quietly, and every enemy learns that humans do not back down. Ryan's eyes turned toward the distant stars. Yes, and every species that witnesses our deeds will know one simple truth. When humans answer a call for help, they never fail. The rim lanes had changed forever. Fear no longer ruled the space routes. Traders moved with confidence. Freighters traveled safely. Raiders learned caution. And humanity had shown the galaxy that strength was more than weapons, in numbers it was discipline, courage, and the unwavering will to protect life. The legend of Earth Fleet was born. Stories of 10 ships defeating over 100 raiders, protecting every freighter, and defending life spread across countless systems. The galaxy began to see humans not only as survivors, but as protectors, guardians, and heroes. And in the endless black of space, the Vigilant and its task force continued their patrol, ready for the next call, standing as the shield of life, the mark of humanity, and the unbroken promise that no SOS would ever go unanswered. The Rim had a new truth. Humanity stands guard.